Hi, everyone. Quick intro. I'm Zahir Raghib. I'm a solutions architect focusing on Quick Automate. I'm joined by Kushal.
Sure, one Kushal Bhattacharya in the product team for Quick Automate sponsor.
Excellent. Thanks so much. All right. So let me walk through our agenda for today. I'll start off by giving a quick recap of Amazon Quick Automate. This is the second video in our series focusing on this topic. And of course, today we're talking about multi-agent automations. So there's two features within Quick Automate that we'll focus on in terms of an introduction that I'll give. One is the UI agent, and the second is the custom agent. And then I'll pass it over to Kushal, who will show us an end-to-end demo. Like I mentioned from our previous session in the series, we covered, or we'll do a quick recap of Amazon Quick Automate, which is the business process automation capability within Amazon Quick Suite. So to enable multi-agent automation, you can use a variety of agents within Quick Automate, one being the UI agent that can navigate the web, similarly to how humans do. We also have a custom agent that can make tool calls, write and execute code as well. When you need more oversight, then Quick Automate allows agents to escalate to human operators through human in the loop mechanisms via a tool, for example. And finally, you can do all of this without worrying about the underlying infrastructure, since Automate manages all of it in the background, and you only pay for what you use with the consumption-based pricing model. So let's focus on the UI agent for a moment. UI agents are specifically designed for web browser tasks. They can navigate websites, perform clicks, and type information, all from natural language instructions, and that's key. Unlike traditional web scraping or RPA tools, where you have to map out every click, UI agents understand what you want to accomplish and figure out how to do it dynamically. So this makes them incredibly resilient to website changes, and they're much easier to configure. Common use cases could include summarizing products on e-commerce websites, or fetching data by navigating through multiple pages. Really, we're talking about any repetitive web-based task where you need to visit sites, gather information, and move on to the next step. UI agents, you can provide structured outputs. What that means is instead of the agent getting back unstructured text, you can configure the agent to return clean JSON data. This is really useful when it comes to multi-agent automations, and I'll cover that more when we talk about custom agents in the next slide. But other than these two things, which is your natural language instructions and your structured output configurations, there's really nothing else that you need to configure. All of the backend infrastructure is managed and provided by Quick Automate. And while executing, you can probably see from my slide here, the visual canvas in Quick Automate actually shows you the reasoning steps that the UI agent follows. It also shows the screenshots it takes to reference later in logs, and also a stream of the actions while it's performing it. I encourage everyone to give this a try. It's one of the easiest agents to configure, and we have multiple one-click samples to get you started with no connector setup required as well. Right, so next, I'll talk about custom agents. Custom agents, in my opinion, are one of the most powerful automation capabilities available in Quick Automate today. These are AI-powered actions that can understand natural language instructions, but also execute complex tasks autonomously using tools. They can reason, make decisions, to orchestrate multiple tool calls. And these also support delivering structured and predictable outputs like the UI agent. Configuring them is also straightforward. You'll see the configuration form on the slide, which takes all the complexity of setting up these agents away. It allows you to enter your instruction or prompts, where you can directly reference variables from previous steps. And then you can select between three modes. You have fast, which is for straightforward tasks like summarizing documents. You have pro, which is for complex decision making, like when you want to, say, orchestrate multiple tool calls together. And then you have a custom mode as well, which is for advanced users who want to bring their own Bedrock model. Say if you have a fine-tune prompt for a specific model, or you want to include your own custom or fine-tuned model that's hosted on Bedrock, then you can use the Bedrock connector and use that model for these custom agents. The custom agent can also connect to external systems. So, for example, Salesforce or Bedrock, we have many others. And you can also enable human-in-the-loop tasks. So when an agent needs to escalate to a human, it can pause, ask a human for their input, and then resume automatically. So in our previous session, and maybe we can add a link to that. We'll see if we can do that. We saw how custom agents can be used in an email triaging automation. In that use case, we used custom agents to use the Outlook actions to download emails from a folder in an inbox. And we also used custom agents to classify those emails. And if it was unsure about the classification, escalate to a human reviewer. And all of these tasks were defined in natural language instead of scripts. Now, we talked about structured outputs briefly. This is a really useful feature for both of these agents. And really what it means is that instead of outputting natural language text from the agent, you can return structured JSON outputs. And this makes it easy to pass data to the next step in your automation, especially in multi-agent scenarios where the output from an agent is referenced in the instruction of the next agent. So I showed you two critical agents available in Quick Automate. I'll now hand over to Kushal, who will show us how these can be used together for an end-to-end multi-agent automation.
Thank you, Zuhair. Hello, everyone. Let me share my screen quickly. Awesome. Zuhair spoke about the agents. Let's just move to the actual practical use case, which you would do with these agents. The first thing which I want to do is I want to explain the use case to you at a very high level, and then we will look at these agents in action. In the sense, I'm going to dive deep into what these agents are, how you will configure it in a quick automate flow, and then how I will run it, and we can look at how you debug the agents as well. First of all, the actual use case which we are trying to do is a pretty typical KYC use case, know your customer use case. Any financial institution, if they onboard a customer, they do some background check on the customer to see what kind of risks they come with, and then they do a risk analysis of that customer, and that's what we are trying to automate today using all the two agents which we have. So the first step which is there is the document classification and data extraction. So these customers would upload some documents for KYC. a custom agent will go and read these documents, extract the relevant data out of it, and classify these documents into different categories, like if it's a driver's license or a bank statement or something like that. The reason why we are using custom agent for this is there's a lot of decision which the custom agent needs to do, depending on what data it extracts from the documents to classify and whatnot. Once it has had all the documents classified, if it finds out something which is not classified or is cannot classify a certain document, it also has the capability to raise it to a human, and then the human can go and read the document and then classify it accordingly, right? Once the agent has all these documents classified with or without the help of the human, then it will move to step 2, which is discrepancy analysis. In this step, what we will do is we'll look at all the documents. We'll create another custom agent which will look at all the documents, read the extracted text, and then find out if there is any discrepancy in these documents. Like, let's say the customer name needs to be same for all the documents. If the statement has a different address, if the license has a different address, then there's a discrepancy and stuff like that. So it finds out if there is anything which looks odd in this set of documents, and then it moves on to do media screening. Now, what do I mean by media screening? Uh, it will go and check if there is any financial fraud against the name of against this customer, and it does all of this using the UI agent. It will go to the website, will do a search on that person, look at news articles for that person, and see if there is any risk associated with this person or not. And then the fourth agent, which will take the output of all the agents at the top, it will summarize all the findings in step 2 and step 3, and then it'll create a document which will actually show you what the KYC looks like for this customer. And then there are subsequent steps to take that, convert it into a PDF, and then put it in an S3 bucket. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly move on to how the documents would look like and how would you do this in Quick Automate. So whenever you open Quick Automate, you would create an automation group, which is where you put all your projects in. It looks something like this. Let's start with the prerequisites to run this flow or even author this flow, right? Uh, we have this concept of integrations where you could use the integrations in an automation, and it basically gives you different features or functionalities with those integrations. So for this use case particularly, we are storing all the documents in an S3 bucket, which is Amazon storage service. So we need an S3 integration to be associated with this automation group for us to run that. And we will also use Textract to extract data from all these documents, because again, these documents can have different kinds of data and we need an intelligent service. Textract is Amazon's ML extraction, document data extraction service. So we are going to use that. So we we will take Amazon S3, we will take Textract, we will create those integrations previously, and we will attach it to this automation group so that it is available for the automation or the agents inside the automations to use them as tools and perform what they want to do. Move on to the automation. So this is what I was showing in the slide as well. This is how the canvas for Quick Automate looks like. You have a list of actions on the left hand side, and if you look at it, you'll see all the integrations which I did, like the S3 and then the Textract. Those are all available for us to use in this automation. We have done this through agents. You could do it in a deterministic way as well. The reason for doing agents is because there's a lot of decision and a lot of complex analysis which it needs to be done, and it's easier to do it with agents, right? So let's move on to step 1. This is the first step, which was, as I explained, the data extraction and classification of documents. So we have all the documents. Let's see the documents first. So I've stored these two documents in the S3 bucket, the driver's license and a statement of account. These are all made up documents. And then the statement of account it looks something like this, like a typical bank statement, right? And then this is how the driver's license looks. It's an image. The other one is a PDF. and we have put all the documents in the S3 bucket for the agent to now go ahead and classify them, as well as extract whatever relevant information it needs to do from them, right? So this is typically how an agent would look like. Zuhair has already touched upon the theory of this. I'm gonna move through the actual implementation and the configurations which you can do. For the first agent, what you would do is you would give an instruction, and then I'm going to open the instruction and show you what it's there. And then you can go through these different modes: fast, pro, and custom. We've already explained what these do. Custom is where you would bring your Bedrock models and use your own fine-tuned models if you want to. Then comes actions. Knowledge is coming soon, but let's talk about actions. Actions are nothing but tools which you could link to a custom agent. This is optional. You can either use actions or not use actions, depending on what your use case is or what you want that agent to accomplish. Right? There are general actions. It can do web search, could write a code, it can create user tasks if it's needed. And then, depending on what kind of integrations you have connected to your automation, you will see a list of other actions which you can do. Like for this case, I need to download the files to extract data. So I have the action selected. Then I would do a text track, read document using text track. So I have that action selected. The good thing about this is granular to the API level. So you can only give access to whatever actions the custom agent needs for that task or that goal, right? Uh, as many actions as you want to use. And then the heart of any agent would be the instruction. So this is how we normally give the instruction. You just write it in plain text, put in all the variables or all the data you want it to see, like the variables which it needs to use. So for this one, what I have said is that there's a structure to writing instructions. This is like what we do every time. We These are all goal based agents, right? So we give it a goal, and then we tell it what data you have to accomplish this goal, reference those data from previous agents or previous actions, then give it exact steps on what it needs to do, like the detailed steps, and if any rules, if it needs to have those. So you will see all the instructions in all the agents which we have used are written in this structure. So for this one, I'm saying, see, this is your persona. You're a document extraction and classification agent, and your goal is to extract data from documents and classify them, right? You have the customer ID and the S3 bucket details, which I just showed. We have a folder of customer ID there. And what you need to do is extract the data, and then you classify each document into either of these categories: license, bank statement, utility bill, whatever kind of documents are in that S3 bucket. You could also make it unknown if you are not able to categorize. If it is unknown, then there will be a human review task created, uh, and then the human can go and finish the task, and we can bring that information or classify the document for this case, and then we can bring in the information back into the automation. What you could also do is you could define what kind of output you want, like structured output, as was mentioned earlier. Uh, can be anything. It can be a string, number, it could be a table, it could be like a key value pair, however you want to see your your output. This is to give some kind of determinism in the agent, so that it gives you the same structure of output every time, and then you will be able to use this output in other uh, other agents as well, right? For this case, I'm saying I've just given a list for all the documents which are there, and I want the customer name out of these documents. You have the option of running a custom agent separately as well. If you want to unit test your agent creator, you don't need to run this whole automation and then figure out what's wrong with your agent. If you want to fine tune your prompt or change your structure output, you can always do this. So if you click on this unit test button, you will be able to run this agent, which let's do that, and then we can move on to the next agents. So if I click on this unit test button, it gives you this dialog box where whatever input variables are used in your prompt, you have to give those values, and then the whole prompt is shown on the left hand side. So the customer ID was 12345, and I just have the S3 bucket name where all the data is there. what you can do is you can just do start run, and it's just going to run that node, that agentic node which you have in your automation. So you will see this panel where you will see the agent thoughts and whatever it's doing next. It has all the traceability which you need to do, which tools it is using, what it is trying to do. You will also see the input and the output at the bottom. Right, so this is the input which I provided, and whatever output it generates, it will show you in that panel. I'll show you that as well. But if you look at this, this basically starts to run just this node. It did not run anything before that, just 1.4. As I'm doing unit tests, it says what bucket I'm looking at, what's the customer ID, and then it has all the agent thoughts around what it is trying to do. Right, it's calling text track. It shows all of that. Then it says I'll extract like both the documents using text track, moves on, uses the tools, exact tools which I've provided or the actions which I've provided for it to use, and then just keeps going on its merry way and get all the information which which it needs to do. So it stopped running and shows with this tick that it has run without any exception. You can always go to the output and then view details, which will open this nice looking uh, formatted text for you. So this is the output which it got. Two files. So it got two indexes in the list. So one is the license and one is the statement of accounts which we have. I also wanted the customer name separately, so it got the name Janice Sample, made up name, but it got everything which it needs to get. So you could go ahead and test all your agents one by one like this. Once you're happy with all the agents running fine, you could go and orchestrate all the agents together and join all the dots by sending the variables or the output of one agent to the another and stitch a workflow around that. Right now, let's move on. So this was the first step, right? Document classification. Let's move on to the next ones. I'm not going to run every agent, but we have understood how to run unit tests and all. But let's look at what is there in the other steps as well. So this was the second step, second agent, which we wanted to do. If you notice, I have used fast mode in this and not a pro mode because it needs less analysis and it's not as heavy as the other agent where it had to extract, list, extract, classify, and all of that stuff, right? This is a little simpler than the other agent. So I have a fast mode, and again, give it a persona, give it the goal which it needs to do, the steps, and then any additional information which it needs, right? So I'm telling you a discrepancy analysis agent, and whatnot. You will analyze all the information which I've got from the previous agent. So that document list, I'm putting that document list here and passing it on to this agent and saying extract all the fields which you think is relevant and find if there are any discrepancies are there or not. These are the exact steps which I want it to follow, right? So if there is a discrepancy in the name or address, put that in. If there is any other discrepancy, you find something on odd in those documents, uh, put that out and give me a summary of those findings in a variable, right? So this is the variable where I will have all the findings. Another custom agent which I've used. So it takes the decision, analyzes the text, and figures out what discrepancies are there. Now, the third step and the third agent which we are using, the second type of agent which we are using is to do the media screening. What I want in this is for the agent to go to the World Wide Web, right, and find if there is anything which it can get for this customer, which alarms or puts this customer at risk for this bank or financial institution, whatever is using this, right? So UI agent, let's give you a little brief of the UI agent. Zuhair has already given you all the details, but the only difference between this is it does not have this and the custom agent does not have any actions, right? Because it works on the browser, it does all the complex navigation and everything. It has the structure output, everything else is same. Right? Uh, Again, similar kind of instruction. You give it a role, you give it a goal, then give it some help with the steps which it needs to do. And as you see, I have not told this where to go, which website to go, what to do. This will figure out. I've just given it a clue that go to Brave website and do the search. So it's gonna do that search there and then do it across general web, find news, articles, get whatever you want to do. Right. So it will reason at every step It will figure out what it needs to do next, and then it will go to that place and extract the information and then give me the output in the format I have asked it to give it to me. So I've asked for a summary, including all the risks, any timeline of where it searched, and include like source links, dates, whatever it can get. Right. So this agent will actually go ahead and do that, right, in the browser. Now, once you have all these three agents running, uh, I am using a fourth agent to summarize all the output of these previous steps. So if you look at my instruction here, I'm saying you are a summary generation agent. Give it to me in an HTML format so that I can put it very easily and structure it in a PDF and load it. Get me the information which you got from the first agent, like the customer ID and the name which it got from the first agent. Then you give me the summary of the discrepancy analysis agent. Then you give me the summary of the web search, what you have got, and then conclude with all these variables which you have now got from the previous agents. Conclude what you think is the overall KYC assessment for this customer, right? Uh, then I've given it some additional rules on how to structure the output, like put it in an HTML format with headers and paragraphs and whatnot. Once I have this, so these are the four agents which we have used. The last step is to now take this output, put it in a PDF, and just upload it back to the S3 bucket where I already have the initial information of the customer, and put it in any other bucket as well. The reason I have not used an agent for this is a very simple task. It just take that output of the agent, put it in a PDF, and just upload that back to the S3 bucket, right? We already have out of the box activities or actions in Quick Automate. You can just drag and drop or chat with the automation and create these actions, and then it will create your PDF and upload. You could very well use an agent, but this is like very simple, where you don't need a lot of decision and stuff, so you don't want to maybe use an agent. Now that we have understood the whole workflow, I'm going to run this, and we will look at how it looks when you run this. What is the agent doing? How it looks when the UI agent works, and then we can move from there, and we can take questions after that. So let me just run this quickly. You have two options to run. You could either run or you could debug. Right now, I'm just trying to run this. Again, I showed you how to unit test the agents. You could also debug the whole workflow one step after the other. We have already seen the first agent, but now that it runs, you see all the logs which comes on the right hand side. It's pretty detailed, gives you the agent reasoning, says what I'm going to do at every step, so you have traceability of what it needs to do. If it finds any unknown categories, it would go and create the human task as well. For this case, there's just a license and a statement, so it should be figured out properly. It should not have any human task. But as you can see, right, it tells you exactly what API it is calling, not even to the tool, but to the API level, saying that it is doing read document for text track, so that you have complete control of what it is doing. And then it moves on with different stuff. It says I have been able to classify all the two documents which are there, and then moves on to the next step, right, which is the discrepancy analysis. That was very fast because I actually used the fast mode, right? It doesn't need to do a lot. So it found out it will give you a summary, and we will stitch it together in the last step. And then this is where the UI agent opens. So I asked it to go to the Brave search engine and search for this person. You already see the so it opens up the infrastructure for you, and you can see the streaming, what it is doing in that virtual machine. And it also gives you the same thoughts and stuff. So it says I will start by navigating to search.brave because I asked for it. And then it gives you screenshots at every step. So you know exactly what it is doing. Next action thoughts. Now I need to execute the search. And you will see a live streaming at the bottom, as you can already see. And now it will read through all these articles. It will see if it can find something for Janice sample, which in this case might be difficult because it's a made up name, but it'll still do all the steps which it was asked to do. It will move through different websites as well if it needs to do, depending on what kind of instruction you give. And it reports back everything in terms of screenshots and whatever it finds. So I let it do its job. And then it finished. It gives you the summary. And then this is the last custom agent which we are trying to run. This basically collates all the information which gets from the previous three agents, and then it'll create the summary for you in the HTML format which you need. You can always change the format. You could use structured format as well if you need a table instead of a file, whatever you need, right? And then it just went on. It just created the PDF and uploaded it to the S3 bucket. Everything which it does, it will do a tick mark. If it has any failures, you'll see it in a red button. Let's go back to the S3 bucket and see what it uploaded. And so you see this folder getting created for results. Under the same customer ID, I have the KYC summary PDF. Let's look at the PDF. I have it open from a previous run already. This is how it would create the summary. All the sections which you asked it to do, it will do. So the first section is basically the output of the first agent, the name and ID. Then whatever it got in the discrepancy analysis. I'm not going to read through the whole report, but you see it does whatever it needs to do, right? Gets all the discrepancies if there is any, gives me the address and everything, and then it says it also creates a summary out of it. There's no conflicting information in these documents. Then it gives you the output of the web search analysis, which is our UI agent. It goes to all the, it went to all the websites as you could see. Then it could not find anything. It says it's low risk. It creates its assessment and gives it to me. And then a conclusion at the end of the day where it says I've read all these outputs of the different agents. And Jani's sample presents a low risk profile because we could not find anything there, and gives you a reasoning of one why it finds it low and then approved for customer onboarding and whatnot. Uh, Someone can use this, like an analyst can use this and then go on and do the onboard, or you could do downstream processing with this document as well. Again, this structure is something I created because that's how I instructed the agent to do. You could do it in any other way. You want a table, you want a JSON, metadata, whatever you want. You could do that, right?